You are cruising down the highway, the music is perfect, and you think everything is fine. But deep inside your engine block, a single bubble of air the size of a marble is deciding whether your car lives or dies today. This isn't a mechanical failure. It's a structural wall made of nothing, and it's about to cost you $5,000. Welcome to Engine Secrets, where we peel back the hood to show you the invisible wars happening inside your machine. You think you understand overheating because you know how to check a plastic reservoir. But the reality is that your cooling system is a high-pressure, closed-loop environment where physics and chemistry are constantly trying to tear themselves apart. We are moving beyond the simple low coolant explanation to look at why modern engines fail when everything looks perfect on the surface. It starts with the thermostat, a small heat-sensitive valve that acts as the gatekeeper of your engine's lifeblood. When this valve fails in the closed position, the coolant is trapped in the block, unable to reach the radiator to shed its heat. It's a digital level failure in an analog part, turning your engine into a pressure cooker in a matter of minutes. You won't see a leak, and you won't see steam until it's already too late for your cylinder heads. The water pump is the next silent killer in the chain of command. The internal blades, or impellers, can erode over time until they are spinning against the fluid without actually moving it. If the pump doesn't circulate the fluid, the heat has nowhere to go, and the thermal mass of the engine begins to melt itself from the core outward. Then there is the radiator fan, the part that keeps you alive when the world stops moving. Modern cars rely on electric fans that live or die by a single fuse, a faulty relay, or a tired temperature sensor. If that fan fails to trigger while you're sitting in traffic, you are essentially driving a car with no cooling system at all. This is level 1 of the cooling journey, the basic mechanics of flow and air. But there is a deeper level of failure that even experienced drivers often miss entirely. We call it the invisible year of maintenance, where small mistakes in the garage lead to catastrophic failures on the road. Consider the airlock, a pocket of air trapped deep within the cooling passages after a fluid change. Air does not transfer heat like liquid does. It acts as a literal barrier that stops all coolant flow. Your reservoir might look completely full, but your engine is screaming because that air bubble is acting like a cork in a bottle. You might notice your temperature gauge jumping erratically or your heater blowing cold air while the engine is dangerously hot. This is the feedback loop failing, and it's the psychological valley where most DIYers lose their engines. Then there is the radiator cap, perhaps the most underrated component in the entire vehicle. It is not just a lid, it is a sophisticated pressure regulator designed to keep your system at a specific PSI. If the seal on this cap fails, the system cannot maintain pressure, and the boiling point of your coolant drops instantly. Your car will boil over and evaporate its lifeblood even at what should be normal operating temperatures. It's a $15 part that can end the life of a $50,000 vehicle because you didn't value the seal. Now we have to talk about the chemical warfare happening inside your radiator. Modern engines built after 2015 are incredibly sensitive to the specific chemistry of the fluids you put inside them. You might think coolant is just the green stuff, but that line of thinking is a relic of the past. Modern aluminum engines require organic acid technology, known as OAT, or hybrid organic acid technology, known as HOT. If you mix old school green IAT coolant with these modern formulas, you trigger a chemical reaction that creates a thick sludge. This gel begins to settle in the narrowest passages of your radiator, permanently clogging the system from the inside out. It is a silent, creeping death that no amount of flushing can ever fully repair once the gel sets. But the chemistry gets even more aggressive if you neglect your fluid for too many years. As coolant ages, its pH level shifts, and it can actually become electrically conductive. This leads to a process called electrolysis, where the fluid literally eats away at the engine's internal metal components. It's like your engine is being dissolved by its own cooling system, a slow motion disaster that you can't see until a part disintegrates. And don't forget the role of your engine oil, which provides up to 40% of your total cooling capacity. If your oil is low or degraded, internal friction increases, generating more heat than your radiator was ever designed to handle. You aren't just managing fluid levels. You are managing a thermodynamic balance between lubrication and temperature. Now we enter the realm of the stealth failure, the one every car owner fears, the head gasket. A blown head gasket doesn't always show up as a milkshake in your oil or white smoke from your tailpipe. Sometimes it manifests as a tiny combustion leak where high-pressure gases from the cylinders escape into the cooling system. This overpressurizes the radiator, forcing coolant out of the overflow tank and creating instant air pockets. You can diagnose this with a block test kit that detects CO2 in your radiator, revealing the hidden crack. It is a level of failure where the very power of the engine is used to destroy its own cooling capacity. There are also unconventional reasons for overheating that have nothing to do with the cooling system itself. A clogged catalytic converter can act like a plug in your exhaust, forcing hot gases back into the engine block. This creates an immense thermal load that can overwhelm even a perfectly functioning radiator. Similarly, if your engine timing is retarded and firing too late, the combustion process continues as the exhaust valve opens. This sends extreme heat directly into the cylinder heads and exhaust ports rather than turning it into motion. You are no longer just driving, you are fighting the physics of restricted energy release. As we look toward the 2025 and 2026 models, the technology is becoming even more complex and fragile. Many new vehicles from brands like BMW and Toyota have transitioned to electric water pumps. These pumps can continue to run after the engine is off to prevent heat soak damage, which is a massive advancement. However, they also introduce new electronic failure points that traditional mechanical systems never had to deal with. Modern cars also use active grille shutters in the front bumper to improve aerodynamics and fuel efficiency. If these shutters fail in the closed position, they block all airflow to the radiator, causing a rapid spike in temperature. We are even seeing AI thermal management systems in premium EVs and hybrids that predict cooling needs based on GPS data. These systems might cool the battery before you even start climbing a steep mountain, managing the future before it happens. But what do you do when the needle actually hits the red zone and you're stranded on the shoulder? First, turn off the air conditioning immediately to reduce the massive load on the engine. Next, turn your heater on to the maximum heat and maximum fan speed. You are essentially using your heater core as a second mini radiator to pull heat away from the engine block. It will be uncomfortable in the cabin, but it might be the only thing that saves your cylinder heads from warping. If you are stuck in traffic, shift the car into neutral and slightly rev the engine to speed up the pump and fan. Whatever you do, never open the radiator cap while the system is hot. The cooling system is under approximately 15 to 20 psi of pressure when it's at operating temperature. Opening it is like opening a pressure cooker. It will create a geyser of boiling fluid that can cause permanent injury. This journey from the basic thermostat to AI-driven thermal management shows that cooling is never a set-it-and-forget-it situation. It is a constant, quiet struggle to keep the fire of combustion from consuming the metal that contains it. Every decision you make in the garage, from the type of coolant you buy to the way you bleed the air, is a vote for your car's future. You aren't just maintaining a machine, you are preserving the structural integrity of your own mobility. The difference between a car that lasts 300,000 miles and one that dies at 50,000 is often found in these small details. Don't let a $15 cap or a $3 gallon of the wrong coolant be the reason your engine ends up in a scrapyard. Respect the pressure, understand the chemistry, and listen to the silent signals your car is sending you every day. Because once the metal warps and the gaskets fail, no amount of perfect timing can bring that engine back to life. You have to be the one who pays attention before the needle reaches the red. That is the secret to riding safe and keeping your machine on the road for the long haul. Take the time to burp your system, check your fan relays, and ensure your coolant pH is exactly where it needs to be. Your future self, standing on the side of a highway with a smoking hood, will thank you for the work you did today. This is the reality of modern automotive ownership. The small things are actually the big things. And the more you know about the invisible walls inside your engine, the further you can go. Keep your eyes on the gauge and your mind on the mechanics. We will see you in the next breakdown of how to keep your ride running at peak performance. Until then, stay cool, Stay pressurized and drive safe.